Wow, we actually have some mermails today? Now make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out more awesome. We have another regional in the books for you here. And this one actually has Mitsurugi Yummy being your bigger representative in terms of your meta top cut, which I like to see that. I like to see that players are taking a look at this deck still as the big challenger. Because, I mean, we have Pittsburgh coming up out of this week, and we're going to have a lot of players looking to try to challenge the meta and see what they can come up with, you know, to break the best deck in the room. Now, we also had Malice, which I'm not all that surprised to see. You know, Malice tends to still be that very chaotic deck that can do very, very well, and actually ended up winning this event, but we unfortunately don't have a list for it. Orcust ended up coming in second place out of this event, which is very, very, very nice to see. We did have some Draco Tail action. Draco Tail still kind of remains one of those big challengers. Now, the build for this event was actually the Magistus Draco Tail stuff. So we are actually seeing some value coming to life with that. Also do see that Branded Despia is doing exactly what it needs to do. We also have Rizal, which this is after the ban list. So this is going to be, you know, we're not going crazy with the Protoss BS anymore. We're actually playing the deck in a semi-fair state of game. And that's actually kind of a crazy thought now that, you know, our deck can be fair. We also do get to see Mermail action. Mermails actually being one of those fairly interesting contenders because, you know, they still have access to their barrier statue. For how long, I don't really know, but you're seeing enough of, you know, the balance of meta shifting around. And honestly, I'm kind of excited to see what else is going to come. Let's pass on over to deck list. All right, so starting things off here, we have Orcust with pretty much all the bells and whistles, and actually seeing Brass of Bombard showing up. Oh man, this is actually very refreshing because I cannot tell you the last time that I saw Brass Bombard actually being looked at as a card. Actually, I feel like 99% of the time I look at Brass Bombard here. We joke about this card and it actually not being all that good, but somebody actually stepped up to the challenge here and actually brought the guy to the table. So actually really, I mean, to be fair though, this is pure Orcust. You know, you're not dedicating canine cards into this, which I actually kind of think is a little bit interesting of a shift. You know, if you're not having the canine stuff, which usually ends up being a very, very strong support anchor for this deck, that's kind of interesting. I also do see that we are playing the Gorgon. Gorgon, while it is a little bit more niche, being able to blank 3 things from the opponent is very, very crucial, especially when you can tag into it off of the SP and basically give it a little bit of immunity is actually not too bad. We also have Super Polys down here. One of the extra little gas targets that this deck has access to is the Secretarion Dragon. Yes, being able to basically take away, you know, whatever power card that your opponent might be trying to set up in the Draco Tail matchup. This is really, really good. Also, let's call it what it is. Having an auto win button in that matchup, I think, kind of feels good. We're also side decking some Dark Ruler No Mores. Also see we're only playing one Orchestrated Return, but instead we are maximizing the Foolish Burial Goods. I mean, Foolish Burial Goods is just going to get you into the Crescendo loaded up anyway, and then the Crescendo's job is just to kind of toggle you into the bits and pieces. We also have Evenlies in the side deck. Yeah, I think you've got most of what you want in this deck all rounded up. Also, only one Dingrisu feels a little bit weird, but hey, extra Super Poly targets are good. Next up here, good old Draco Tail. You know, the fact that Horn has been pushed into the side deck for a lot of these variants is hilarious to me. It's not that Horn is a terrible card. It's just, at this point, it feels like we've got much better cards going for us, you know, and obviously, you know, I'd rather have an extra hand trap or something like that in the main deck. And you know, the crazy part about this is dubbed Magistus Draco Tail. The only extra Magistus monster that you are slotting into this is just the one Crowley. You know, you just play the Crowley to be able to kind of turbo through and kind of do your thing. I mean, seems good. You also have access to Chirozzo down here. I mean, we've seen Chirozzo coming and going. It's actually not bad. Also, you know, we get access to the big Zorua, and we've also got access to Arwas as just kind of extra little free targets. I mean, hey, it's Magus plus a spellcaster. I mean, you'll get to all your bits and pieces that you need. Also, side decking, though there can only be one. I too love having floodgate cards to blow the opponent out of the water. So everything that this list kind of brings to you, I think, is very, very, very straightforward. Also, hello, Sideframe Good Stuff. How are you guys? Looks very, very, very strong. Ooh, we have Yummy Mitsurugi. Easy. For this variant, we are actually playing the Futsu in the main deck. It's been a little bit of a coin flip. If you're going to play Futsu, you go beyond the Saji and you play the extra 2 names, because being able to kind of pull out the extra walls to kind of control the opponent is basically the good stuff of what this deck needs to have. You do see that we do get to side deck the Wozu as well. Wozu has really been paying dividends lately for this card setup, man. Like, it actually is a very, very strong card when it does do it, saying, hey, look, we also get to see the Gorgon down here. Gorgon really, really, really has been showing up and doing a lot more. We're also side decking the additional fields, but I feel like this has become more of a norm at this point. You know, you still want to have access to these cards, but quite unfortunately, they're not the broken levels that they once were. We also have the Great Purification in the side deck, playing the triple pre-prep. Pre-prep is so broke. I mean, if you get drolled off of this, I mean, it sucks, but it's not exactly the worst thing in the world. That's why I see this build's playing the Crossout and the Called by the Grave. I think this is one of the first builds that I've seen in a while is actually playing like the Crossout in the main deck. I've seen the Crossout pop up a little bit in the side deck, but I feel like there are a lot of times you just need to have these tools to be able to try to do something. And if not, you know, you're just going to have a bunch of issues. Next up here. So this is what Rizal is capable of doing. So remember, we had the auto win button in Protoss. We no longer have that. All right, so you're just going to have to kind of rely on the go stuff to get set up. I'm not going to say that, you know, this deck is completely dead, because Infernal Flame Banshee still bridges you in to X Rizal, and then you can still just trade this off into like an Eclipse Twins, for example, depending on, you know, the setup, which, you know, you have access to 1 Twins in here, which is fine. We're also going with the actual 2 traps for this build, both the Plasma Hole and the good stuff here. I think you will accomplish what you need to with these. They're very, very strong. Oh, also, hello, DD Crows. We actually have Crow access in here, which does feel very good. And, of course, the Unbreakable Xyz barrier as well. Anybody else notice that a lot of these power cards are just extremely good in the things that they're capable of doing? I mean, 7 Tachyon is the bread and butter for this deck, man. Also, surprisingly enough, we've only got 1 Triple Tactics Thrust in here, which I think is just fine for what you're looking at for this. So, notes for this. Deck is not dead. You're just playing a little bit slower of a game right now. And I don't necessarily think that that is a bad thing. And then we have Mermails for you. And there it is. There's their water barrier statue. As much as I want to give this deck credit and say that, you know, it's got a chance, this barrier statue I feel like is up on the chopping block. So, a lot of the water combo is still going to be, you know, filter through, make big, waterboard, and turn. Now, one cool thing about this list is we've actually got cards in the deck for going seconds. Kind of one of the things that I feel like water was kind of missing was you didn't necessarily have enough tools and enough gas to try to push through a lot of these boards. And actually what I'm now seeing here is this gives you an opportunity to do so. You've got hand traps present in here. You know, we're not playing Dominuses, which is a little bit weird, but I do see that we have anti-magic arrows in here. Also just kind of as a good slam down. Also deep sea minstrels. You know, 1 in the main, 2 in the side, I think works out very, very nicely for this. But What do you guys think about these interesting lists? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think, and I will see your beautiful faces back here in a day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.